All right, so today's lesson we're doing checking solutions to equations. So basically, what we just did on the opener there, you solved the equation. You got the right answer. Now, you're going to take that information and substitute to see if your answer is correct or not. See if you have the right answer. So in order to check the solution to an equation, the first thing that you're going to have to do is substitute the answer for the variable in the original equation. The second step you're going to do is simplify each side of the equation using order of operations. What's the acronym for order of operations? Order of operations. How do I know to solve an equation in order? Yeah, PEMDAS, which stands for parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, and subtract. And then if you get the same numbers on both sides of the equal sign, then you're right. If not, then something was done incorrectly. So you need to fix it. You need to find out where you made the error. Let's go back to example 1 here then. So example 1, if you notice, I have a equals -9. This is the answer because my answers are in a box. So what you're going to do, right next to example number 1, so right next to where it says your example number 1, put a equals -9 in a box. So put it above it. Do not put it underneath your equation because you're going to use that space to work. So put it above the equation right next to the example. A equals -9. Now, according to our notes, the first step it tells us to do is substitute the answer for the variable in the original equation. Well, here's what they're saying, A equals -9. So that's what they're saying my answer is. So what I'm going to do is substitute that -9 for every A that I see. Now, when I go to substitute a number, I'm going to put it in parentheses, just because it helps me keep straight of where I'm plugging in a new number for. But it's really important when I go to substitute here. What does 2A mean to do? But if I just substitute a -9, what's that going to look like if I don't put parentheses around that -9? So if I just substitute 2, and then I substitute my -9 for my A, does that still mean to multiply then? No. So that's why it's going to be important that I put that parenthesis around the number that I'm substituting for. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish substituting. So when you do this, you're going to rewrite your equation. And every time you see the variable, you substitute what number for it. So every time I see this variable A, what number am I substituting for it? What type of 9? Okay. Now, step 2, we're going to simplify each side of the equation. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my line of equality. Is there anything to simplify on my right side here? Nah, it's just the 18. So we can really leave that side alone for right now. So the side that we're going to have to simplify at this point, or solve, is going to be my left side. And I'm going to solve using order of operations. So the first order of operation is going to be parentheses. Now, when I say parentheses, I don't mean parentheses that show multiplication. I mean parentheses that have a group of number within them. So do I have parentheses with a group of number within them? Yeah, 2 sets of them actually. So I'm going to solve it going left to right. So first thing I'm going to do is bring down this 4 so I don't forget about it because I'm not doing anything with the 4. Now, what's in my set of parentheses? Okay, so it's -9 minus 3. What's -9 minus 3? No, you owe me $9. Now you owe me 3 more. -12. Now, can I just bring it down like this? No. Because what's this 4 being done to the number inside the parentheses? So I need to put that -12, bless you, in parentheses. So then I go to my next set of parentheses. Again, I'm going to go ahead and just bring down my minus 3 so I don't forget about it. And then I'm going to work in this next set of parentheses here. Now, I have 2 operations in that set of parentheses. When I say operations, I'm talking about add, subtract, multiply, and divide. The first operation that I need to do according to order of operations is what? I'm going to multiply. So I'm going to take 2 times negative 9. What do I get when I take 2 times negative 9? Negative 18. So I'm just going to write that up above there. And then I have my second step. Negative 18 minus 4. What's negative 18 minus 4? Negative 22. So when I bring that negative 22 down, what do I need to put around it? Parentheses. Because that 3 is being multiplied to it. Okay. Now I'm ready to keep solving. So now I've done my parentheses. Do I have any exponents? Nope. Do I have any multiplication? Yeah. I have 2 parts of multiplication. So you're going to solve working in order from left to right. So the first one is 4 times negative 12. So negative 48. Then what's my second set of multiplication? Negative 3 times what? What's negative 22, which is going to be?
Negative 66.
How about positive? Because you're multiplying 2 negatives, right? So negative 3 times negative 22 and get a positive 66. Okay, we're not done yet. You really have to watch your negatives here. So we're not finished yet. We still need to do one more step. We need to add. So negative 48 plus 66. 18. So do I have 18 on both sides of my line of equality?
Yeah.
Yes. So this answer is correct. So I have the right answer. So when you have the correct answer, you're going to come up to your little answer with the box in it and put a check mark next to it. That's going to show that that answer is correct.
So you got check mark and box.
I know it's almost like I have expectations that you're in high school.
I barely want to do the box.
I'm dead.
You will. And we started off with a really complicated equation to give you as your first example, but it'll start getting a little bit easier. Okay, let's take a look at the next example here. So example number 2, again, put your answer, the b equals 2, up above by your example number 2. That way you have room to work. Now, what's different between this example and the first example? Bless you. Darius?
The equals is not at the end. It's just the parentheses at the end.
You're on the right line of thinking. Can anybody clear up, Deontay?
Because
Bless you.
in the middle is not how it is at first. It's something with the middle.
Kelsey? Did we have to simplify both sides of the line of equality last time?
Yeah.
No. Remember, we just had to equal 18. Well, this time, what am I going to have to do? Simplify both sides. So I'm going to have to work this side, then work this side. Now, there's 2 ways in which you can choose to do this. You can work both sides at the same time, or you can work the left side first, then the right side first. I like to work one side, then the other. But it's going to be up to you. You all right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so step 1. Anytime I see the variable b, I'm going to substitute what number for it? So what am I saying b equals? 2. So anytime I see the variable b, I'm saying b equals 2, so I'm going to substitute a 2 for it. So let's rewrite our equation using substitution. So I'm going to have 3 times, what do I plug in for b?
2.
And then I'm going to go ahead and write out my right side just so I don't forget to substitute. So then my right side, I'm going to have 5 times 2 parenthesis, because it's going to be times again. What do I plug in for b or substitute? 2 parenthesis plus 1 parenthesis. So that was all of step 1. Basically, I just substituted a number for the variable. So step 2 now, I'm ready to simplify each side of the equation using PEMDAS. Now this is where I'm going to solve this entire side first, then come back and solve this side, instead of doing them both at the same time. So I'm going to look at my left side. I need to use order of operations. Do I have parentheses? Yes. So within the parentheses, it reads what?
2 minus 2.
Which is?
4.
2 minus 2, which is?
0.
0. Now when I bring that 0 down, I'm going to have to put a 3. What should I place that 0 in? What should go around that 0?
Parentheses.
So parentheses. Okay? So I did within my parentheses. Do I have any exponents? I'm still working that left side. Nope. Do I have any multiplication?
No. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what?
2 times 2. Wait,
I'm in the red here.
Oh.
I'm going to work the left side all the way down
Oh,
first.
3 times 0.
Which is?
3.
0.
Oh, shoot.
And then what's my last? You don't really need to write out 0 plus 7, but what's 0 plus 7 then? 7. All right. So on my left side, we have 7. Now I'm going to simplify my right side. So I'm going to go back up and work on my right side now. Again, order of operations. Do I have a set of parentheses up there?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm going to work in there first. Now I have 2 operations in here. I have multiplication and addition. Which do I do first? Okay, so what's 2 times 2?
4.
Okay, so then we have 4 plus 1, which is?
5.
Okay, when I bring that 5 down, what do I have to have around it?
Parentheses.
Now, do you see how I dropped the other 5 down because I wasn't done with it yet?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you're ready to solve, right? What's 5 times 5? 25. Now, are these 2 numbers, step 3, are these the same numbers?
No.
No. So whoever gave us this answer as b equals 2
It's wrong.
was wrong. So we're going to put an X through it. It's wrong. So when you guys go to do your work and you feel like you don't have the right answer, you can substitute to see if you got the right answer or not.
That's a lot.
Okay? All right. So the bottom of your notes there, you guys should already know the answers to those little 2 spots. So the bottom of our notes, it says, if the answer is correct, put a check mark by the answer. If the answer is incorrect, put an X over the answer. So if it's right, we're just going to put a check mark next to it. If it's wrong, we're going to X through it. All right, we have 4 more example problems on the back. All right, example number 3. Now, this time it's different. Where's my variable located this time? It's located as an exponent. That's okay. We can still substitute for exponents. So they're saying the exponent equals what number? So I'm going to substitute what number for the D? So what number do I substitute for D? Okay, so it's 2. Now here you don't have to do parentheses for an exponent. So 2 to the 4th minus 1 equals 14. Right? I'm also not going to have to simplify both sides of the equation, am I? I already have a number here. There's no other numbers on my right side, so the 14 is just as is. But I do need to simplify the left side of the equation. So we're going to use order of operations again. Step 2. Do I have any parentheses? Exponents? Yes. What's 2 to the 4th power?
2 times 2 times 2 times
2 times itself 4 times. So 2 times 2 is?
4.
Times 2 is?
8.
Times 2 is? 16. So 2 to the 4th power is 16. All right. My last step. What do I do? Yeah, 16 minus 1.
It's 15.
Do I have the same answer on both sides here? No. So we're going to check mark.
It's okay.
Hey, Mom, where did 4 come from? Why are you trying to?
So basically, the 4, we're just having you check your solution. So we're saying the D equals 4. Hey, Darius, Nick, no. All right, so let's look at example number 4. Okay, so this time, when you're solving equations with squares, you can end up with 2 possible answers. Because think about it. The square root of 25 is what? 5. Or it could be what? Because 5 times 5 equals 25. But what else equals 25? Negative 5 times negative 5. So sometimes you'll have 2 solutions that can actually work. Sometimes not. So let's look at this one. So make sure you leave some space on your paper. We're going to solve this twice. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to draw a line down the middle real fast so we keep our work separate. So I'm going to draw a line. So on my left side, I'm going to substitute using a positive 6. So I'm going to use this same equation, and every time I see the C, I'm going to substitute a positive 6. So I'm going to rewrite my equation. So it's going to be 5 times, what do I plug in for C? 6 plus 7 equals, what do I plug in for C? 6 squared plus 1. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and draw my line through my equal sign. And I'm going to work my left side of the line of equality first, then my right side of the line of equality. So I'm going to work my left side, then my right side, because now I need to simplify each side. So what do I do first on my left side here? Multiply. So I'm going to take 5 times 6 and get 30. I'm going to bring down my plus 7. Right? Now I have one step left to do on my left side. What's 30 plus 7? So I have 37. Okay? Now I'm going to go to my right side. So I need to simplify my right side. I have 6 squared plus 1. What do I do first according to PEMDAS? Yeah, the exponent. So what's 6 times itself? 36. So I have 36 plus 1. What's 36 plus 1?
37.
So is C equals 6 a
Yeah.
possible solution?
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm going to put a check mark by it. We know that it's yes because these are the same numbers. Now, let's say this was 37 and this ended up being negative 37. Would that work still? 37 and negative 37, are they the same numbers? Nah.
So that means the other one's wrong.
Well, we're going to find out. So this time when I go to solve the equation, every time I see the variable C, what am I going to substitute for it? Negative 6. So I'm going to take 5 times negative 6 plus 7 equals negative 6 squared plus 1. So I rewrote my equation by using substitution. I'm going to draw my line to separate my sides here. And because I like to work on the left side first, I'm going to do my left side first. So what's 5 times negative 6 here? Negative 30. Bring down my plus 7. What's negative 30 plus 7?
37.
No,
Negative 37.
negative 23.
Why you racing?
I like each step a different color. Got to color coordinate it. Okay. I know, right? So now I go to my right side. Now on my right side, I'm taking negative 6 times itself twice. So negative 6 times negative 6 equals 36. And then I bring down my plus 1. Well, what's 36 plus 1?
37.
Is negative 23 and 37 the same answer? No. So that answer is wrong. That is not a possible solution. Thank you. All right, let's look at the next example. Once you have this down, take a look at the next example.
Dang.
That's Bailey's. Okay. Yeah, what was that dang about? What do we have in there? Yeah, this is fun. This is where we start having fun. Now, I told you guys, beginning of the year, that second triad was my favorite because I love square roots. Third triad, I'm going to still really like it because now we're going to get to solve equations with square roots in them. So they don't go away. I'm sorry, Rihanna. Okay, so here's the deal. Listen to me. The square root, we're going to look as an exponent. So we're going to solve a square root in the order as what we'd solve an exponent. Okay? So this time, when I see the variable e, what value am I going to substitute for it? 13. So I'm going to first rewrite my equation. So 3 square root 2 times 13 minus 1. Now I'm going to make sure anything that's under the square root, I keep under the square root. Anything that is not under the square root, I am not going to just add in there, okay? So make sure you write your numbers accordingly. Okay, so I have my equation written. I'm going to put my line down to separate my sides. Now this time I don't have to simplify anything on my right side. It's all on my left. Now, as I said, order of operations, we're going to use the square root in place of an exponent. Those two go together, okay? Remember how multiplication to division, you can do at the same time working left or right? Because they're inverse operations. Addition and subtraction, you can solve together working at the same time because they're inverse operations. Well, so is square root and square. They're the same thing. They're inverse operations. So they go together. So we're going to work under the square root first. Now, I have two operations under here. I have multiplication and subtraction. So what would I do first? Yeah, so what's 2 times 13? 26. Instead of rewriting it all, I'm just going to put my little answer up here. Now I have 26 minus 1. What's 26 minus 1? Say it again. 25. Now, did I get rid of my square root sign yet? No. So what you're going to do, bring down your 3, bring down your square root sign, because we have not simplified that square root yet, and then I need to bring down my minus 2. Okay? Now, I'm not finished with my square root yet. I need to get rid of the square root sign. So I have to think to myself, what's the square root of 25? 5. It's a perfect square. So when I bring down my 5, what do I need to put around it now? Parentheses, because it was 3 times 5. And now I was able to get rid of that square root sign. So now I just go ahead and continue solving. Order of operations. What do I do next? Which is? You don't have to rewrite the negative 17 out every single time on the right side. I do. I like my stuff to be even. So then what's 15 minus 2?
13.
Is 13 the same thing as negative 17? No. So E equals 13 is not a possible solution to this equation. And that's where we're going to stop today. We'll save this next example problem for Monday.